Good morning, everybody. Oh, thank you, thank you. Just a few words about today's music. The prelude is something that Linda, Jess, and I used to do quite a bit, but she's not here, unfortunately, so I asked her to record the vocals, and then I put the arrangement to it, and we're just going to see whether I can play it and the arrangement works and her voice works at the same time. But I think it will, but let's see. And it's going to be A Whole New World from the Disney film Aladdin. I think it's, yes, from Aladdin by Alan Menken. The postlude is going to be something where everybody is going to join in. And it's going to be the wonderful song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, which I hope you all know, but the words will be up on the screen. And if you don't recognize the words, I'm sure you'll recognize the tune. So sing along with Lusty Voice. So this is A Whole New World.
A whole new world.
Shining, shimmering splendor. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride. Oh, fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming. Oh, new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. Unbelievable signs, indescribable feelings, so redundantly weaving through an endless diamond sky. A whole new world, 100,000 things begin. I'm like a shooting star, I've got so far, I can't go back. I'm in a whole new world, with new horizons to pursue. I'll chase them anywhere, there's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you.
Good afternoon. We finally changed it. It's no longer good morning. One thing is I am really looking forward to when Linda can be here with us in person, but it was wonderful to hear her voice. And the other is we're trying something besides the cowbell. So I saw a lot of smiles, so I hope that's a good thing. Okay, so my name, for those of you that don't know me, is Devorah Kelley, and I'm today's service associate. Reverend Matt Alspaugh will be our service presenter today. Our opening words this afternoon are by Kathleen McTeague and are adapted. You who are brokenhearted, who woke today with the winds of despair whistling through your mind, come in.
You who are brave but wounded, limping through life and hurting with every step, come in.
You who are fearful, who live with shadows hovering over your shoulders, come in. This place is a sanctuary, and it is for you. You who are filled with happiness, whose abundance overflows, come in.
You who walk through your world with lightness and grace, and woke this morning with strength and hope, Come in. Oh, you also have everything to give. Come in.
This place is your calling, a riverbank to channel the sweet waters of your life.
The place where you were called by the world's need. Here we offer love.
Here we receive in gratitude. Here we make a circle from the great gifts of breath, attention, and purpose.
Come in.
And so we both want to welcome you to our LCUUF Sunday service. May you discover here the truths that resonate with your spirit here. Our announcements were on a slideshow before the service, as usual, and were also sent out with our weekly newsletter. If you're new here and you haven't received the newsletter and would like to, you can talk to a member of the welcome team. Would people on the welcome team just raise your hand real quick? There's a lot here to talk to, okay. And now a special welcome for any visitors that we have today. If you're visiting with us for the first time, or even the second time, because we need to know who you are. Or if you've returned or reconnected with us after a long absence, we invite you to say your name and tell us where you're from. If you're on Zoom, please introduce yourself in the chat box and Deb will read it aloud in the fellowship. Are you going to walk around? And Matt will come to you. Do we have any visitors here in the room today?
Yes. Hi. Oh, it's the Zoom people can't hear otherwise, so. Oh, okay. I'll hold it sideways.
I'm Diane, and I'm from San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm moving down here, and I've been here for about, since May.
Oh, excellent. Welcome. Yeah.
Any others here in the room? Deb, are there any new people visiting on Zoom?
No, not today.
Okay. So all of you old timers are here. So here at LCUUF, we offer a wide variety of services on a variety of topics presented by some of you, our members, outside guests, as well as Reverend Matt. We hope you'll return to sample this variety of thought and belief. Do we have a chalice?
I'll do it.
Matt is a man of many talents. Our chalice lighting words today are by Katie Savani Gelford. We call forth the life of our faith by igniting our chalice. The spark of new beginnings invites us into sacred space to reflect where we've been and where we're going. Even knowing that this particular flame will intentionally end with our ritual extinguishing, fear not its end. For we know with brave hearts that from every ending of our lives, we are sent forth to make a new beginning. Now, having lit our chalice.
Well, maybe I'm not so talented.
Okay, so let's sing these words that we sing together.
Candle this night in celebration for the life that we share.
I think all of you know this, but there are many ways to be of service here at LCUUF. We can give our time, our talents, and our treasure. They're all necessary components to a vital and healthy fellowship. Now is the time in our service. I'm chuckling because we heard those words in a workshop yesterday, where we ask you to share the gift of treasure through pledges and donations. So as we pass the baskets, if you're new here today, and we have one new person, let the basket pass you by. Your gift, your presence is a gift to us. And each week, and for those of you that haven't been for a couple weeks, this is new. Each week we give all of the loose money that we receive in the basket to an organization providing services here at our Lakeside community. If you're donating for a pledge payment, please put that in the envelope so we don't give that away. For the month of September, we're supporting Food Bank Lakeside to relieve, they work to relieve the chronic food poverty of our most disadvantaged neighbors along Lake Chapala by collaborating with donors, volunteers, businesses, and community organizations to ease the suffering and offer hope for a brighter future throughout the Lakeside community. If you're on Zoom and you're not attending in person, you can donate to Share the Basket separately from your pledge payment. The offering has now been generously given and gratefully received. Thank you. So each moment is a miracle, encompassing everything, the joy and the sorrow, the failures and the successes, the disappointments and the happiness, the celebrations and the grief. This is the time in our service where we can briefly share our joys, our sorrows, and any milestones. We'll start with the folks in the room to give those of you on Zoom a chance to type your joys or sorrows into the chat that will be read aloud by Deb. So first we're going to voice our sorrows. Thank you. Whatever you or the world may be holding that's in need of our collective healing thoughts and prayers, are there sorrows that people here in the room would like to share today?
I'm Flo, and my sorrows are many for the many of us who are not here and sharing, hopefully on Zoom, and for their health and continued recovery.
Any other sorrows?
I'm sorry, this is Dee Dee, and I'm sorry to report that John Cleveland passed away, I think Monday night, this past Monday night. Kathy, Kathy Vardy's husband. And you didn't see him very much because they were only here for a short time before he had a stroke.
I'm Catherine, and I'm thinking about Kathy Coaches, who died a year ago today, and Bob, and sending him lots of love today, and always.
Bob, we love you.
I'm thinking about the tragic loss outside of Atlanta with all of the school shootings and the poor young man that's going to be tried as an adult, and just praying that we somehow come up with a solution that makes sense in the United States with guns.
Okay. Deb, are there any sorrows shared on Zoom this morning?
Yes. As you mentioned already, Bob Coaches shares, today is the first year anniversary of my wife and best friend Kathy Coaches' passing. As I sit here, I am sad and miss her very much. Yet there is also joy in the memories that live within me of all the adventures we had together in this life and on this journey on this earth. Although she's physically gone, she lives in my heart and my mind and is with me every day. And Jesse said, we're with you in your sorrow, but also join you in the memories. I'm sorry, that was Linda. And then Linda also has a sorrow. A good friend of mine, Jack, passed away this week. I'm worried about his partner who is not taking this loss very well. That's all the sorrows.
Thank you, Deb. I should know what's coming next, but I don't see it yet. Sorry. That's okay. Oh, it's the joys, of course. Okay, now we get to share our joys. Whatever you may be celebrating, whatever evokes a feeling of that joy or peace in your heart for yourself or others, share it with us, because joys shared, to me, increase the joy within the room. So are there any joys that people would like to share?
Richard, and I wanted to. I'm Richard, and I wanted to tell you that the assisted listening devices that we were working on, when we first installed them, the audio was out of sync. Now that problem is fixed. I tested them last week. They work real well, and so if you have hearing problems, we have something available to help you. Just ask the tech team before the service, and they'll get you equipped.
I'm Annie, and every time I come here and walk into the courtyard, I'm filled with joy at the beautiful sign that was made by our own Johannes, which has all the color and shine and gold you could want. It's just gorgeous. Thank you.
I'm Sharon. My voice, as you know, is not good here. It was good in Atlanta, though, which tells me something. No, it's about elevation, I think. I think I learned it's elevation. So Steve and I just got back from a long weekend with our granddaughter, who called us by our names for the first time, renaming Steve from what people have been trying to get her to say Grandpa to Papa, and saying Nana. Yeah, which is what she's been taught. So we now heard our names. She's 17 months old. And they moved to Boston, which is 3.5 hour nonstop, they moved to Atlanta rather than Boston. So our life is blessed by a move to Atlanta. So, very nice.
Michael has his hand up. Michael.
I actually have a sorrow first and then a joy. And the sorrow is that way back in the early 70s, I went to a concert in London given by a man who, and his group, that ultimately became totally influential in my love of music, not just classical, but popular music, and music of all different kinds of countries. And since that time, I went to a lot of his concerts in Canada and in Europe. And I have done, over the years, many orchestral arrangements of his music that I played in Pop's concerts. And it was with great sorrow that I learned on Thursday that he passed away at the age of 83, and that was Sergio Mendes. What a great, great musician he was. And I had the real pleasure of meeting him and talking with him at the Ottawa Jazz Festival several years ago. So I know you're making great music still, Sergio. And my joy is that many of you have heard of TED Talks and TEDx Talks. I mean, we've seen excerpts from them. TED Talks are actually coming here in March next year that will be at the auditorium for one day. And I was delighted that I've been invited to speak at that and give a talk. Most of the talks are 15 minutes, and it's called The Possibility of Music for Change. So I'm looking forward to that.
Any other joys? I have a joy. So yesterday was part 2 of a 3-part series that some of us are doing, mostly from the Sunday service team, but some other people too, on transformational worship. So be prepared. Because we got some really good ideas yesterday. Okay. Any joys that were shared on Zoom this morning?
Yes, Colleen writes, her joy, she's grateful for a change in the weather in Texas. It's only in the 80s during the day and in the 60s at night. Fall is quickly approaching. Doug Mattoon said, here in West Texas, I joined Colleen in her joy. Linda said, I'm happy to have been able to share my voice with you today. And finally, Terry wants to share the joy of Pearl's cataract success.
Okay. Thank you, Deb. And this candle that Matt's going to light is from our care team, and it represents all those joys and sorrows that we hold in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. So we light this candle for all those unspoken joys and sorrows. So let's take a moment of silence to hold in our hearts both the sorrows and the joys that have been shared this morning. So our opening hymn, you heard it when you were walking in, is I've Got Peace. No, I'm sorry, you didn't hear it when you were walking in. You'll hear it now. Is I've Got Peace Like a River. So please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing. Have strength like a mountain. This is a poem by John Donahue called For Retirement. Raise your hand if you're retired. Okay, this is for you. This is where your life has arrived. After all the years of effort and toil, look back with graciousness and thanks for all your great and quiet achievements. You stand on the shore of new invitation to open your life to what is left undone. Let your heart enjoy a different rhythm when drawn to the wonder of other horizons. Have the courage for a new approach to life. I think just by virtue of us coming here, we did that. Allow it to slow until you find the freedom to draw alongside the mystery you hold and befriend your own beauty of soul. Now is the time to enjoy your heart's desire, to live dreams you've waited for, to awaken the depths beyond your work and enter into your infinite source. May it be so.
Good afternoon. A couple of years ago, I based one of my sermons up here on a TED Talk by Riley Moynes from Surrey, British Columbia. In that talk, he spoke of the phases of retirement, and I received a lot of comments about that particular message. Moynes suggested that there are 4 phases of retirement. First, a kind of a vacation phase where you let go of routine and do whatever the heck you want. And second, a kind of a phase of loss as you realize that you are giving up more and more, including even those routines that you used to depend on, that you let go of in the vacation phase. But more importantly, the loss of perhaps friends, relationships, and even a sense of purpose. And then you may enter into a third phase of searching, where you experiment with and perhaps flail around trying to find different new activities as you try to find new meaning in your life. And finally, you enter into maybe a 4th phase. You may or may not ultimately get to this, where you do find a true new purpose in your life. Now, whether the phases of retirement are nice and linear like that, I have my doubts. But Moynes' suggestion does ring true for many of us. Those of you who have made it to retirement, and no, I am not one of them, know that retirement is a significant and different part of your life. It's an invitation into a new life. It's an invitation into the tercera edad, or third age, as they call it here in Mexico. An invitation into the future, if you will. But of course, this invitation doesn't just apply to those who are retired. Every day is an invitation into the future. That's not me. I was about to blame you. No, not at all. As that poet John Donahue, who is on the screen, said, and I quote, "You stand on the shore of new invitation to open your life to what is left undone, to what might be worth doing or not." Whether you're retired or not, we might take heart in the poet's words. Now is the time to enjoy your heart's desire, to live the dreams you've waited for. And so, live the dreams. Be on the journey, the road. That's the invitation. And now, Devorah.
Now it's me. A poem, The Road, by Arlene Gay Levine. Here is the road. The light comes and goes, and then it returns again. So be gentle with your fellow travelers as they move through the world of stone and stars, whirling with you, yet everyone alone. The road waits. Do not ask questions, but when it invites you to dance at daybreak, say yes. Each step is the journey, a single note, the song.
We oftentimes use the road, the path, the camino as a metaphor for our lifetimes. As the poet Arlene Gay Levine says, suggesting that by living our lives, we walk along the road, along with our fellow travelers, hopefully living fully, saying yes, taking each step the journey. So here's an exercise on the stages of life. No, that's not it. Let's see, maybe it's this. It's called the timeline exercise. You may have done this before. Draw a line and mark one end of the line birth and the other end of the line death. Now, where would you mark now, today, on this line? Would you put it near the end? I suspect many of us might, or maybe you might put it more towards the middle or even earlier. This is the road. In this exercise, you would now populate this timeline with key events from your life, things you did, things that happened around you in family, work, school, the world. Here's an example of a timeline that Liz and I did. Yes, it's in Spanish. This was part of a Spanish immersion class that we took some time ago. And so this timeline could be a tool for reflection about your past, maybe a starting point for memoir, as Janice spoke of last week. Or it could be a tool for contemplation about your future. Maybe not so much about schedules and task lists and projects, but perhaps about desires and hopes and longings. And more than that, the timeline is an invitation into the future, to think maybe even beyond the end of the line. What comes after, for example? What of afterlife? Maybe it all ends at birth and death. That's it. Or maybe not. Maybe the line bends around on itself, suggesting reincarnation or rebirth. Maybe if you lean towards Tibetan Buddhism, the line includes a period of bardo, an in-between world between death and birth. Or maybe after you die, you go to that place where you were before you were born. Maybe that's something we really don't know. For many of us, the unknown seems scary, dark, a fearful place. But I prefer to think of the unknown as simply what is possible, even exotic, mysterious, in that sort of positive sense, like an unopened gift. So maybe another possibility might be that that space is something else. Maybe that space is love. Maybe we all come from the same space, this love, and all of us return to that same space, love. Just this week, I read an article by the writer Anne Lamott in the Washington Post. She spoke of growing older and interacting more with older people. And of them, she says, I quote, "Love emerges flagrantly as the real coin of the realm. The people I've spent significant time with at the end of their lives do not talk about degrees or promotions or having successfully kept their weight down. They talk about the times and places of love. Loving memories are the fields in which we walk with them near the end." So I don't know what the future holds. I don't know where the road leads. But I do think that Anne is on to something when she says of her old friends that the coin of the realm is love. And I very much want to believe that I am invited into a future full of love.
Clearing by Martha Postlethwaite. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize it and you greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue.
So let us meditate on this poem for a few moments. Let us find a relaxed position, comfortable. and close our eyes or soften our gaze. And in our mind's eye, we can imagine creating that clearing out of all of the dense forest of our busyness, our daily grind, away from all of our plans and worries and memories and regrets. And we can imagine waiting there in that clearing with our hands open, patiently for something to come to us. A message, a word, a song that is our life. Maybe now, maybe later. Maybe this time, maybe another time we will receive it. And we will know ourselves just a little bit better and know what our purpose is now and know how to give ourselves to this world that needs us. And so let us return to this time and this place to be together with these people. To be together with these people. To be together with others. Beyond sitting silently seeking inspiration, being together with others is a powerful way to get clarity on who we are and where our paths lead us. Oh, I disconnected here. That's what was going on. I might need a bigger chunk of tape. This is the trick you learn in theater. They tape these darn things to the side of your face so they don't move around. So these explorations that we do don't have to be done only in the silence of us being alone in our own space. Sometimes the best exploration happens in the presence of others. You know, our song comes, maybe formed out of words, maybe formed a question, maybe a friend asks a question, or maybe tells a story. Thank you. We get a glimpse of our future path from the story that maybe somebody shares with us about their own journey. So how to be together with other people? In this fellowship, we gather here on Sundays at noon, certainly, but there are other gatherings too, right? We have our coffee gathering, we have the humanist gathering, we have the women's gathering, others that I'm not even thinking of in the moment here. But I want to tell you to invite you to a new type of gathering that is specifically for this kind of exploration and sharing. So this month we plan to launch a program of small groups which we are calling Chalice Circles. These are groups that meet monthly, and they create a space for the kind of deep sharing that allows us to grow, to deepen our spiritual understanding, self-understanding, and to find a path towards purpose in the future before us. So the Chalice Circle idea emerged out of a board discussion where we realized that that kind of sharing was missing here at LCUUF. And Paula Odom just ran with it, gauging interest and signing people up. We have about more than 30 people signed up right now. See Paula after the service or contact her if you are interested. And I suggested that we use the material from Soul Matters Sharing Circle. Soul Matters is a network of UU congregations who follow the same monthly theme so that they are able to more easily share material for groups, Sunday services, music, and education. Now, you may not know it, but we've been using Soul Matters for resources for Sunday services for some time now. Today's topic is drawn from Soul Matters, for example. And I can attest to the value of Soul Matters material for small groups. We used it in my previous congregation, that's some of them there, and it was much loved by many members. These Soul Matters groups are framed around our own experiences around some monthly theme. So, for example, this month's theme is invitation. More specifically, how might we live a life of love through the practice of invitation? And so it's no surprise that I'm talking this morning about the topic of invitation. And that will be my commitment that whenever possible, my first Sunday of the month will touch on the monthly theme as I'm doing today. This does not mean that every single Sunday will be about invitation, but some of them might be for this month. So in the group, in the Chalice Circles groups, we are invited to go deep, to make sacred connections with others by sharing thoughtfully, by listening respectfully as others share. We're also invited to take a bit of time before the group meets to listen to what our own heart says about the monthly theme. Your invitation, if you will, as part of the group, will be to review the materials that we will send early in the month. Materials like readings, poems, pointers to videos, movies, and music. See what sparks you, what makes you curious, what grabs you that you might want to play with as part of a, if I may use the words, spiritual practice. So for example, some suggestions from the packet for this month include ideas like these. How would you react to hearing a particular story? What invitations is this particular phase of life extending to you? Or even, how about inviting a friend to our Sunday service? How would that go off? And so we do one of these things, maybe, and reflect on how it went. And that becomes part of what we bring to the group. And then in the group, we have space to share our experiences for the month. What did we take away from those experiences? And we listen to each other's experiences. Some of us may have great insights, epiphanies. Others of us may be frustrated. And others of us may not have brought anything because, well, the dog that is life ate our homework. Still, we listen. We give our listening as a gift to each group member. And the listening is the key. As theologian and one of my seminary professors, Rebecca Parker, put it, there is a quality of listening that is possible among a circle of human beings who, by their attentiveness to one another, create a space in which each person is able to give voice to the truth that is his or her life. There is this miracle of authentic narrative made possible by listening that holds still long enough to let our truth be told. And so with others listening attentively as we speak, we get a chance to listen to ourselves too. We get a chance to hear our own song, in effect, in thin strains as it then grows louder, more full, and with more harmony and rhythmic power. And so that is the hope that these chalice circles offer. That we'll have time to consider some spiritual practice or another on our own, that we are able to come and talk about it and listen to others, and with the care and depth that we come to understand ourselves a little better as spiritual beings.
This is a poem by Rumi, transliterated by Colum Barks. The human being is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some monetary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows. who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
One of the concerns with any invitation is there's a sense of uncertainty, right? Unknowing involved. When we're invited to a gathering or a party, for example, we don't know who else might be there or what kind of things might transpire. When we're invited into the future, as we are every day, we don't know how that future will unfold. And in this favorite poem by Rumi, we see ourselves as a guest house, inviting in new arrivals every day. And how true it is that many of those daily arrivals are the unpleasant ones, sorrows, dark thoughts, meannesses. So it's easy to let ourselves react to this negative things, to become angry, even enraged, or to dip into the depths of depression. Still, Rumi reminds us to treat each guest honorably, for who knows what they might ultimately bring. Maybe these guests are more complicated than they seem. And so we should see what each guest is about, what we can offer them, and what they might have to offer us. For these guests might subtly, and each in their own way, be offering us an invitation into our own path towards the future. Or not, as this final poem suggests.
One of my all-time favorite Mary Oliver poems, The Journey. One day you finally knew what you had to do, and you began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, and the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations. Though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough, and the road was full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing that you could do, determined to save the only life you could save.
Also a favorite poem of mine, this Journey by Mary Oliver. But put this poem in contrast to the Rumi poem before. What are those voices shouting their bad advice? Perhaps these are the troublesome guests that arrive every day that Rumi spoke of, some of whom violently sweep our house empty of furniture. But this is where wisdom comes, discernment. When we realize that these are not guests, visitors, but some of them have moved in to take permanent residence in our minds. And knowing these voices well enough, we have the wisdom to know who they are and what they have to offer or not. And so little by little, we leave these raucous shouting voices behind so that ultimately we are able to hear a new voice, which we recognize as our own. And maybe this voice, this new voice, whispers to us that still small voice beckoning us, inviting us. And maybe it sings with us, singing the song that is our life, offering us the future, a future of possibility and hope and purpose. Maybe a future that we would have never imagined in the past. And that song that is our life, let us sing it. Come, let us sing that song. Come, sing a song with me that I might know your mind. That's what we're going to sing right now, and I invite you to Prize. You have the invitation now, not a letter in your hand, but a message within your heart. Go out with it, open with it, and find within that still small voice that beckons you onward to live a life more fully, more purposefully, every day into the future. May it be so.
So let's extinguish our chalice with these words which we read together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts and share with all the world. And now the postlude, which you did hear when you were walking in. Let's see. How about if we stand up? And I invite you to stand up.
Okay, okay.
done. So, I don't need to say anything. Wait, and
We're done. Yep. Yeah.